Call this meeting to order. Roll call. Mayor Juarez here. President Newmiller
Here.
Council Butcher here. Council McCarthy
Here.
Council Sutherland.
Here.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, I'm going to close the regular council meeting and declare the public hearing open for the consideration of the Ridge West zip rezone. The hearing will be conducted in accordance with state statutes, Mills Council procedures, and other applicable laws. The hearing has been set and advertised in accordance with the statutes. I would ask those individuals who wish to address the council on this issue to approach the lectern and state your name for the record. Do we want to have another or we'll wait till the ordinance to have another from staff?
I think we have one from staff now.
Yeah, if it's okay, we'll take a report from staff.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. So this will be the first rezone hearing where action can be taken tonight. Again, this is a proposal to rezone Mountain Meadows number 2, lot 2A. It is currently zoned urban agriculture. It is seeking to be rezoned as residential 1, which is a single occupancy land. So adjacent use north is the Charter Heights, which is urban agriculture. South is county property, it's light industrial. East is Robertson Hills, which is residential 1. And west is county property, which is also an urban agriculture. To recap from the last time, there are no changes. This is a continuity and zoning initiative. It meets infrastructure demands and it addresses housing demand locally and in Natrona County. The area is identified in Natrona County's 2016 land use plan as an area that is slated for development for selenium mitigation. This rezone meets all the applicable code references within Title 17, considering purpose. The purpose is to promote health, safety, and welfare of the city and to encourage the most appropriate use of land, to conserve the value of buildings and land. This completely conforms with that purpose. The changeover to R1, which is single-family residential, essentially just provides low-density residential development in the form of detached single dwellings together with schools, parks, and other related facilities. This blends well since we have a new charter school within the vicinity and a park that was recently constructed directly across the way. During the previous hearing, it was noted that we had several letters in opposition from Donald Oaks, an adjacent landowner, public hearing comments from Mary Peterson, an adjacent landowner, and who was opposed, and comments from Dan Scherlinger, a notable business owner in the area who has a stables, who stated that wasn't really for or against it, but had some development concerns and stormwater concerns that had been addressed through staff and with engineering. Any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
So for anybody who would like to address the council, would you ask that you approach the lectern and state your name for the record? And at this point in time, I'm going to ask, is there anyone in the audience who wishes to speak in favor of this item?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Sean Gustafson, ECS Engineers, the author of the plat that will follow. Just wanted to say that we do agree that this is the proper zoning for the area. Agree with continuity. far as some of the concerns that have been raised so far, we are addressing those concerns in the engineering design of this subdivision, as well as within the plating, as far as detention areas to capture and slow down water, as far as just the general geometry of the intersections and so on in the area. So I guess with that, I'll also state that the plans will come to for full review here fairly soon. We're just with that, if there's any questions, I'd love to answer them, or if you need me to address anything that's said tonight, I'm also happy to do that. So.
Thank you, Sean.
Appreciate it. Is there anyone in the audience wishing to speak in favor of this item? And for a third time, is there anyone in the audience wishing to speak in favor of this item? Is there anyone in the audience wishing to speak in opposition of this item?
Well, I guess I'll be the first. Good evening, council. My name is Donald Oakes. We own the property 180 acres west of the new proposed subdivision, and we the major property owner on the east-west boundary. First question I have, I submitted a letter on October 20 for the second notice for the proposed subdivision. Has everybody on the council had an opportunity to read that letter?
I believe so, yes. It was shared by email.
Okay. If you add the whole letter, I'd like to read just excerpts of that letter. The proposed subdivision is a sharp contradiction to the historical land use on the two sides, both the south and the west. An important issue that has come to us is the stormwater drainage from multiple subdivisions currently drains onto our private property on the west end of Poison Spider Lane, as evidence from recent storms that floods our property, even with retention basin. In addition, the addition of more than 80 homes and associated infrastructure, the streets, roofs from houses, gutters, storm drains will grossly exacerbate the flooding of our property, that effectively adding a paved parking lot on 27 acres. Similar concerns were brought to this council in the spring of 2024, and those concerns fell on deaf ears. There were a lot more people at that meeting that were in opposition, but we had the concerns about the flooding and the drain ditches, and nothing was addressed at that time. The developer of the properties west of Robertson Road has consistently employed the bait and switch tactic for the development in the area. The property where the school currently sits, as well as the property that wants to be divided into the new subdivision, was originally advertised at 1/2 to 2 acre lots. If that proposal was still on the table, we would not be significantly opposed to 20 units or so. It's just contrary to a lot of the development that we've had in the past. Anyway, one thing I'd like to bring to your attention, and I did some quick calculations today, just for water usage. The proposed subdivision is 27.124 acres. 80% of that, if you took 20% that says going to be grounds or grass or whatever, but the rest being, the 80% being roofs, watershed, driveways, streets and gutters, that leaves 21.7 acres. If 2/3 of that water drains to the west and south, that's 14.7 acres of watershed. Assume 1/2 inch of water, of rain. That equates to 197,000 gallons of water that poof is going to run down, run in front of our neighbor's driveway, right into the retention basin, and then flood our property. If the City of Mills approves the rezoning and then approves the subdivision, who's liable for flooding my property? So that's all I have to say.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your comments.
Sean, it was my understanding that most of that water is not going out that direction. Is that, I mean, you're not pushing all of this water out to the northwest and up and around, is that correct?
That is correct. A lot of the water does go to the south and east to another detention pond down in there that will detain the water. It's about a 1/3, 2/3 split, just to make it simply, so.
Okay. Thank you.
And I believe that they're working with some of those prior concerns to
Yep.
look at all that and I'll make sure that you get that letter. I didn't realize you weren't on that.
My name is Francis Ackley, and I wrote some prepared remarks today I'd like to share with the council. I've been a member of the Platteview Estates subdivision for just over 5 years, and I understand that development is going to occur in this parcel even without a zoning change. But I oppose this change for a number of reasons. Without going into great detail, I want to preface my comments by noting that this particular developer has for some time misrepresented her intentions with the subject property. In order to get approval for the sale of land for their charter school, the developer stated to the Planning and Zoning Commission that there was no desire to change the zoning from urban ag. At the last hearing, Mrs. Peterson stated she was told by the developer that the development would encompass 20 to 25 lots, not the 86 that are proposed. I assume she was told this in order to agree to a change in the location of the right-of-way to access her property. At the last hearing, certain planning considerations were noted, and I would like to address these. Item 1 states that the rezone will align zoning with the established Robertson Heights subdivision immediately to the east. But what about the Platteview Estates neighborhood immediately to the north? While removing the isolated agricultural zoning on 3 sides of this, while removing the isolated agricultural zoning strip might be convenient for the developer and the city, there is other zoning on 3 sides of this property. The urban ag to the west, urban ag residential to the north, and light industrial to the south. If proximity to a similar class of zoning is justification for a change, then perhaps you should consider the zoning on the other 3 sides of this parcel. You state that R1 zoning will provide a compatible transition between the suburban residential form of Robertson Heights and the more semi-rural pattern of Platteview Estates, but compatible to whom? Item 4 addresses housing demand as justification for approving the rezone, but this conflicts with the real situation. Platteview Estates has been around for 6 or 7 years. There are 45 lots. 6 of those lots still remain undeveloped or unsold. The residents have been dealing with trash and wind-blown dirt from construction activities and property damage from home and school construction for this entire time. If you do the math, this equates to 6.5 homes sold per year. If home sales remain consistent, and that was back in the day when we had lower interest rates, it would take 13 years to build up the subdivision, and residents would have to suffer the consequences of construction activity for a very long time. Item 5 attempts to justify the zoning change by referencing the 2016 Natrona County Land Use Plan, which indicates development is necessary on the subject land as a selenium mitigation measure. I've reviewed that document 3 times and find no mention of mitigation for selenium. Is this a complete fabrication? The document also states that most, if not all, creeks and streams in the county have high concentrations of selenium. So this parcel is not unique in that regard. And the zoning change would have no impact on the selenium concentrations in this parcel or any of the surrounding areas. I suggest that you strike this reference from the record unless you can prove that this reference exists. I spent several hours today trying to find the latest code references for the town of Mills, a task that, if proper references were cited, should have been accomplished much quicker. In support of the zoning map amendment as presented by City Council, There are several errors in citing the appropriate references as listed here. Title 17.02.010, as cited, I cannot find this section. I believe it should be cited as 17.10.65, zoning map amendments. Furthermore, I found no reference to the phrase, to conserve the value of buildings and land. I believe this may have been from an earlier version of Title 17. Title 17.05.020, zoning map and district boundaries. This citation in Title 17 references definitions, not a map or boundaries. Title 17.10.020, this citation is incorrectly referenced. It refers to application processing of land use permits, not amendments authorized. And lastly, 1710.030, this citation is incorrect. It should be Title 17.10.70. I encourage the mayor to have staff thoroughly review these citations and ensure that they are correct. If not, the hearing should be tabled until factual information can be provided to the public, as the findings are inconsistent with Title 17. Indeed, if these citations are incorrect, it makes one wonder if Title 17 was consulted at all. While I realize that this whole process is mere formality and that you are unlikely to be swayed, regardless, I am opposed to this rezone request. I hope that you will consider the desires of the residents and recognize the impacts to surrounding property owners and disapprove this request. The land should be left as it is currently zoned and developed so that the rural nature of the area is left intact. Finally, I would like to cite a few things from the 2016 Natrona County Land Use Plan. In the discussion on soil priorities, item 4 states that soil is essential to the economy and environment. All new development proposals or changes in land use shall limit erosion. Item 2, in the discussion on air quality, policy 1 requires DEQ approval of all development practice to eliminate dust or airborne pollution. It is apparent that the county finds it highly desirable to limit soil erosion. Primarily over the last couple of years, the residents of Platteview Estates have suffered damages from soil erosion resulting from construction activities and continue to incur damages because of poor drainage from the school. In my opinion, the city building department has not done enough to hold contractors responsible for limiting the erosion. Strong winds are a constant here, and building permits should reflect the need to limit erosion from larger construction projects. Regardless of whether or not you approve this zoning change, I think there needs to be more on-site erosion mitigation for any future development. And lastly, the county land use plan specifies that new subdivisions are required to have an improvement in service district. And I wonder if this has been done or if this has to be approved later when the site plan is put in place. Thank you for the opportunity to comment.
Thank you. Would you be willing to provide us a copy of that letter?
Yes,
So
sir.
we can look into some of the comments
Okay.
that you made?
No problem.
I appreciate it.
Okay.
And we had, not that long ago, updated our website. I believe if you go to the community tab and then down to code of ordinances, it now reflects our current ordinances. I believe they're all updated until we vote to add more currently, but they are. So you can, it's a great tool to be able to search by keyword or even title. The current version of our Title 17 is up on that now, so that should help also. But we'll look into those concerns. Second time. Is there anyone in the audience wishing to speak in opposition of this item? And for a third time, is there anyone in the audience wishing to speak in opposition of this item? So, seeing no others for or against it, I'm going to declare the public hearing of this portion closed, and I will reopen the regular council meeting. Do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I move that we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
How does council vote?
Aye.
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 Motion passes. All right, at this time, we are going to, oh wait, do we want council approval for the, do we want to do that after open
It's
discussion?
after.
Okay.
Trustee council approval.
Oh, right. It's been a very long day of meetings for me. So at this time, we are going to open for open discussion. If you have anything you'd like to address the council on, we do ask that you approach the lectern, state your name for the record. And
Sorry.
the beeping thing on the wall, that's the time limit. We do have a 5-minute time on that clock. You can address anything in general or any of the things that we're going to discuss later in the agenda, or questions or concerns. We're open for it, and we're here to hear your comments if you have any. So with that being said, is there anyone who wishes to speak in open discussion? All right, seeing no one, we're going to move into ordinance number 832. First reading, an ordinance amending the official zone map of the city of Mills, Wyoming by rezoning Mountain Meadows subdivision number 2, lot 2A from urban agricultural to residential 1 or R1.
I move that we approve ordinance number 832 on a first reading.
Second.
Is there any discussion with council?
When you get that letter, you'll pass that out to everybody.
Yeah, I sure will.
Just make note that this is only the first reading. We have 3 readings that have to go through.
And it's a great process for 3 readings. It allows us to address some of the concerns, and especially with that letter, we can look into some of those items. And then if something needs to be adjusted or changed, we can do that at the second reading. So is there any other discussion with council? All right, does council vote?
Aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes. Ordinance number 833, first reading, an ordinance renaming Mills Memorial Park as Service and Sacrifice Park.
I move that we approve ordinance number 833 on the first reading.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
Were there any other names to choose from? Any
Um,
other changing options?
I'm not gonna lie, it was real hard to come up with that.
Oh, was it?
I'm open to anything, honestly. I think it's really more reflective of the intent of the park, which is to honor first responders as well as veterans in not only the Mills area, but Wyoming in general specifically, but
Just kind of a mouthful.
it is.
Excuse me, Mayor, I'll bring a copy of this by tomorrow.
Thank
Does that
you.
work?
Yeah, thank you.
Unless you have a,
I can take it
You
now.
can
if
give me the copy.
this is my only copy, so
But maybe after the first
I
reading,
do need to get a copy.
are we able to?
Actually, I have it on here.
Brainstorm?
I don't- you ever see
Yeah,
that one?
so,
Okay.
we
If
have,
not, you can contact me on the
group
clerk.
needs,
Okay.
So I'll be here tomorrow.
Okay.
With a few members, and I'm so sorry, it's been such a long day that I'm trying to really grasp it, who was there to discuss the naming of the park, and so the group came up with the name. I think Enoch was there, a couple of other individuals from the community. Sarah, you were there. Someone was
Frank there?
Frank was there.
Is it people that are part of the park board?
Yes, but there was more people than that.
Okay, that's
Because-
not what you're referring to, okay.
No, where I signed, and Summer asked me to be a part of it.
Oh, yeah, that
That
board,
was-
yeah. I
Yeah.
thought you meant like the greater area of the Toronto. Yes, that
No.
board. Yeah. So that was the group that came up with the name, I believe.
Yeah. And then we came up with the coin and everything afterwards too.
With the what?
Coin?
The logo.
Yeah, the logo.
I don't know, okay.
Um,
I just, council hasn't been involved in it at all, and I think I would like to,
We can definitely add you to the next.
it's a Mills Park, and so, I don't know. I'd like to be involved more in at least the naming part of it, if we could. Even just some options that we can maybe vote on.
So I absolutely would love more participation from the council on not only that, but all of the things that we do outside this. But as far as the naming goes, we can, if we need to, change course. But the name's kind of already set in place as far as the ability to fundraise, the identity. I mean, social media page is fine, we can change that pretty quickly. The 501c3 paperwork has been registered under that. So I think that your statement is totally fair on that. I think we did invite you to that board, didn't we? No? I thought we did. I don't remember.
It's been,
A while.
it's been a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, this has been in the works for a while, because I remember when we had the work session and we discussed it.
But we didn't discuss names, like options for names. We discussed that the diorama that they built, that was the look of it. I'm just talking about, like, can council have more input on, it is a Mills Park, and so, that's all I'm asking.
Yeah, we would love that, honestly. Do you want to wait on the ordinance and the name change?
But you're saying that they can't change the name?
The first ordinance, I mean, we could approve it here, it takes 3 of them in order for it to pass.
Okay, we're not doing a resolution then.
No, it's an ordinance.
Ordinance.
So I mean,
Yeah.
we
But
could go
can
through
we
here and
do
we
it
could
first?
table it later if there is an issue.
The reason the clerk asked is because there's an ordinance in front of you this evening and a resolution. I think we sort of decided to take the resolution off
Correct.
tonight and just address the ordinance.
Correct. That's the way I understood that, so.
That, I think your understanding is correct. We only have the ordinance in front of us tonight.
Right, which would take 3 readings, so if there is more discussion later on, we can always table it so that it's ready to go later. So I wouldn't have an issue approving the ordinance tonight, knowing that we may table this in lieu of more discussion at a former time.
Yeah, so just keeping in mind the paperwork and all that has already been established under a park name. I mean, at the end of the day, a name's a name, so we can, if council feels passionately about that, we can reestablish all of the stuff that's been identified with that name. And we can update the groups that council wanted to change the name that we've already presented to, and they've got buy-in on that. So yeah, if we wanna set a work session or something, or set a meeting, we can do that too. With, get them involved, because we need help fundraising, so.
Sure.
I think we have motions, right, yeah.
Yes.
So with that, how does council vote?
Aye.
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 Motion passes. Resolution number 2025-35, resolution supporting the enactment of Senate 1455, the Unique Zip Code Act, to establish a single zip code for the community of Mills.
And make a motion that we approve resolution number 2025-35.
Second.
Is there any discussion? How does council vote?
Aye.
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 Motion passes. Resolution number 2025-36, resolution supporting HR 3095 to establish a unique zip code for the city of Mills, Wyoming.
I move that we approve resolution number 2025-36.
Second.
Any discussion? How does council vote?
Aye.
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 Motion passes. Resolution number 2025-37, resolution supporting the enactment of S 2364 to establish a single zip code to the community of Mills.
I make a motion to approve resolution number 2025-37.
Second.
Is there any discussion? How does council vote?
Aye.
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 Motion passes. Resolution number 2025-38, resolution concerning day-to-day and itinerant salesmen.
I move that we approve resolution number 2025-38.
Second.
Any discussion? How does council vote?
Aye.
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 Motion passes. resolution number twenty
That's
twenty-five
off the table.
-39, a resolution confirming appointment as representation of the city of Mills to the Toronto County Travel and Tourism Council. Did I say -39?
I put it as 40, but I can change it to 39.
Because it would be, is that correct? It would be 39?
It would be 39.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So if council wants, I can repeat that. Resolution number 2025-39, resolution confirming appointment of representation of the city of Mills to the Toronto County Travel and Tourism Council.
I make a motion to approve resolution number 2025-39.
Second.
Any discussion? How does council vote? Aye.
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 Motion passes. Council approval, Civil Engineering Professionals, Inc., amendment number 2.
I move that we approve Civil Engineering Professionals, Inc. Amendment number 2.
Second.
I will abstain from this.
Is there any discussion? How does council vote?
Aye.
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 Noting with 1 for Newmiller to abstain, motion passes. And
I
then-
move that the mayor has the admission or approval to approve the life flight transfer incentive policy.
Second.
Is there any discussion? How does council vote?
Aye.
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 Motion passes. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
How does council vote?
Aye.
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 Motion passes.